The Alchemy of Adversity, how Black women are turning setbacks into startups. When we talk about resilience, we often picture someone weathering a storm, standing firm against powerful forces. But what if resilience isn't just about withstanding pressure? What if it's actually about transformation, about taking the very forces meant to diminish you and using them to create something entirely new? I recently had the profound privilege of interviewing Aqueelah Smith, a visionary researcher whose work has fundamentally reshaped how we understand economic empowerment and resilience. Her groundbreaking studies have uncovered one of the most compelling social phenomena of our time, a phenomenon that challenges everything we think we know about power, adversity, and human potential. Aquila isn't just documenting trends, she's illuminating the path forward for communities that have been systematically underestimated. Her research is quite literally changing how we understand the relationship between oppression and innovation. What Aquila has discovered reveals how Black women, despite facing disproportionate job losses and policy rollbacks, are leading an entrepreneurial renaissance that's reshaping American business from the ground up. Her insights challenge everything we think we know about adversity, innovation, and the true nature of strength. We've been taught to believe that success follows a predictable formula: work hard within established systems, climb steadily upward, and eventually claim your seat at the table. But what happens when those very systems are designed to exclude you? What happens when the table you've been trying to reach suddenly disappears? The conventional wisdom would suggest catastrophe. But Aquila's research reveals something extraordinary happening instead. In 2024, Black women became more likely to start new businesses than men within their demographic. They emerged as key drivers of America's entrepreneurial boom during one of the most challenging economic periods in recent history. This isn't just surprising, it's revolutionary. It completely inverts our understanding of how adversity affects human potential. Think about that for a moment. The very group experiencing the most significant employment setbacks is simultaneously creating the most new opportunities. This isn't coincidence, it's alchemy. What Aquelah Smith has documented isn't just a statistical anomaly, it's a profound lesson about human ingenuity and the unexpected gifts that can emerge from systemic challenges. Her work forces us to reconsider our fundamental assumptions about success, failure, and the true sources of innovation in our society. Let me share with you three transformative insights from Aquilah's research that might forever change how you think about obstacles in your own life. First, adversity doesn't just test resilience, it can actually spark innovation. The disproportionate job losses among Black women haven't simply been setbacks. They've become catalysts for entrepreneurial creativity. When traditional doors close, new pathways of possibility open, not despite adversity, but because of it. Second, representation matters now more than ever. As policies shift and diversity initiatives face resistance, supporting Black women entrepreneurs becomes crucial, not just for equity, but for our collective economic vitality. These women aren't just building businesses, they're creating entirely new models of leadership that our economy desperately needs. And third, these new community focused businesses are leading meaningful change. Many of these ventures are rooted in healthcare, social assistance, and personal services, industries where Black women are reshaping what leadership looks like while directly serving their communities. They're not just filling market gaps, they're healing community wounds. Let me introduce you to Maya Smith from Atlanta. Maya's story, shared by Aqueelah during our interview, perfectly illustrates this phenomenon. Maya lost her corporate HR position during mass layoffs that specifically targeted DEI focused departments. After years of advocating for inclusion inside corporations with little support from leadership, she found herself suddenly unemployed. But instead of seeing this as an ending, Maya recognized an opportunity to build something entirely new, a holistic wellness spa where she could create her own company culture from scratch. I spent years trying to convince executives that inclusion wasn't just the right thing to do, it was good business, Maya told Aquila. When I lost my job, I realized I could stop trying to convince people and just show them by building it myself. The challenges were significant. She faced limited access to startup capital, a common barrier for female founders, and encountered skepticism about opening a business during an economic downturn. But Maya didn't retreat. Instead, she leveraged local business incubators, focused on minority owned startups, and used crowdfunding platforms tailored for underrepresented founders. Within just 2 years, her spa became profitable. Today, she employs 10 staff members, 8 of whom are Black women previously affected by similar layoffs, and offers free wellness workshops for underserved youth. Her business was recently featured on local news as one of Atlanta's fastest growing small businesses, led by a woman of color. But Maya's impact extends beyond her immediate business success. Her journey has inspired other laid off professionals in her network to pursue entrepreneurship as a path towards economic independence. What began as a personal response to adversity has rippled outward, creating new possibilities for an entire community. This pattern repeats itself in Aquilah's research. Consider the story of the Sisterhood Child Care Collective in Detroit. 4 friends, all former educators who lost their jobs due to school closures, founded this collective to offer culturally responsive childcare services in their community. They encountered significant obstacles, difficulty securing loans due to low credit scores from previous financial instability, struggles with city licensing requirements unfamiliar to first time business owners. But rather than giving up, they formed strategic partnerships. The collective connected with local nonprofits advocating for minority business ownership and received pro bono legal aid and micro grants specifically earmarked for child focused community enterprises run by women of color. The results were remarkable. Their center filled all available slots within just 3 months. Their model has been recognized regionally as an example of community first innovation during times when public resources were shrinking. They've been named one of Michigan's top 10 social impact startups for 2024. What makes their story particularly powerful is how they leverage their collective strengths. Each founder brought different expertise, from curriculum design to parent engagement, but shared firsthand experience navigating both professional setbacks and family care needs unique within their community context. Their approach is now being replicated elsewhere through mentorship programs targeting recently unemployed educators interested in launching similar ventures. Then there's Dr. Aisha Williams, whose story Aquila shared as a powerful example of innovation emerging from institutional resistance. Dr. Williams left hospital administration after finding herself sidelined following anti DEI policy rollbacks at her institution, part of a troubling trend affecting thousands nationwide since early 2024. She faced reduced federal grant opportunities once targeted at minority health initiatives and needed to rapidly develop technology skills outside her clinical medicine background. Rather than accepting these limitations, Dr. Williams joined national networks supporting digital health startups led by underrepresented minorities and secured angel investment via pitch competitions exclusively open to diverse founders. Today, her telehealth platform serves over 2,000 patients monthly across 3 states, with particular outreach efforts aimed at uninsured or underinsured populations hit hardest during recent economic shifts. She's received recognition from national physician associations for advancing equitable access using technological innovation. What motivated Dr. Williams wasn't just personal advancement, she was driven by witnessing institutional bias and seeing patients fall through cracks when layoffs hit support staff hardest. In response, she built systems prioritizing cultural competence alongside medical care delivery. Her work is now cited as proof that marginalized leaders can set industry standards even amid policy headwinds. These stories reveal something profound about human potential. When traditional doors close, new pathways emerge, not despite adversity, but because of it. The very friction that creates obstacles also generates the energy for transformation. This isn't to romanticize struggle or suggest that systemic barriers are somehow beneficial. The challenges these women faced were real and unjust, but their responses reveal something essential about human creativity and resilience that we often overlook. We typically think of innovation as emerging from abundance, from having more resources, more time, more freedom. But Aqueelah Smith's research suggests that some of the most meaningful innovation actually emerges from constraint, from having to reimagine possibilities within seemingly impossible circumstances. This has profound implications for how we think about economic development, community resilience, and personal growth. It suggests that our focus on removing obstacles, while important, is incomplete. We must simultaneously recognize and support the creative potential that emerges when people transform obstacles into opportunities. For Black women entrepreneurs specifically, this means acknowledging their leadership in this space and ensuring they have access to the capital, networks, and resources needed to scale their innovations. It means recognizing that their success isn't just good for them, it's essential for our collective economic future. But the lessons extend beyond any single demographic. They speak to all of us about the nature of resilience and the unexpected sources of renewal in our communities and in our lives. When we face setbacks, whether personal, professional, or systemic, we have choices about how to respond. We can retreat into bitterness or resignation. We can exhaust ourselves fighting against immovable forces. Or we can do what these women did, transform the very energy of resistance into fuel for creation. This is what Aqueelah Smith calls the alchemy of adversity, the mysterious process by which obstacles become opportunities, setbacks become stepping stones, and closed doors reveal entirely new rooms we never knew existed. I challenge you today, look at the walls in your life. What if they aren't barriers but building materials? What if the very forces meant to contain you could be transformed into foundations for something entirely new? The next time you face rejection, discrimination, or a system that wasn't built for you, remember Maya, remember the Sisterhood Collective, remember Dr. Williams, remember that sometimes the most revolutionary act isn't fighting harder to belong in spaces that don't value you. It's creating entirely new spaces where you and others like you can truly thrive. Your setbacks are not the end of your story, they might just be the beginning of your most important creation. The question isn't whether you'll face adversity, you will. The question is, what will you build with it? This isn't just about survival. This is about transformation. This is about turning pain into power, obstacles into opportunities, and adversity into alchemy. The world is waiting for what only you can build. What will you create from the very forces meant to hold you back?